Welcome to the Social Lens and thank you for watching. In recent political developments, the Economic Freedom Fighters, EFF, have reiterated their willingness to form a new government alongside the African National Congress, ANC, under the condition that the Democratic Alliance, DA, and Freedom Front Plus, FF+, are excluded from such an arrangement. This stance marks a significant moment in the ongoing negotiations surrounding the establishment of a Government of National Unity, GNU, in South Africa. The EFF's insistence on this condition underscores the ideological rifts and strategic maneuvering within South Africa's complex political landscape. This is not the first instance where the EFF has set forth its conditions for cooperation with the ANC. Historically, the EFF has positioned itself as a radical alternative to the ANC, often criticizing it for not fully committing to transformative policies. The EFF's central demand, exclusion of the DA and FF+, stems from its broader ideological commitments and strategic objectives. The EFF views these parties as antithetical to its goals of radical economic transformation and social justice. The current deadlock in GNU negotiations primarily revolves around the distribution of key positions within the government. The ANC's initial decision to engage with the DA has proven contentious. The DA's demands for strategic portfolios have met resistance within the ANC, particularly from factions that are wary of conceding too much power to their political rivals. This internal discord has stalled the formation of a new national executive and the cabinet for Gauteng's provincial government. In this context, the EFF's proposal offers a potential resolution to the impasse, provided the ANC is willing to sever its ties with the DA and FF+. The EFF argues that the inclusion of these parties would compromise the core principles of the ANC's National Democratic Revolution, NDR, which focuses on the liberation of blacks in general and Africans in particular. In a detailed letter addressed to ANC Secretary-General, EFF Secretary-General outlined the party's position. The letter emphasized that any agreement with the ANC must align with the principles of the Freedom Charter and progressive internationalism. The Secretary-General stressed that the EFF's objections to the DA and FF+ are rooted in these parties' representation of what he described as an imperialist, counter-revolutionary, white supremacist agenda. The letter also highlighted specific policy areas where the EFF finds the DA and FF+ as positions unacceptable, including affirmative action, land expropriation without compensation, and international solidarity with movements such as those in Palestine, Cuba, and Western Sahara. The EFF argues that the ANC's collaboration with these parties would represent a departure from its historic mission and an alignment with reactionary political programs. The EFF's proposal is underpinned by both ideological convictions and strategic calculations. Ideologically, the EFF is committed to the principles of economic redress and social justice, which it believes are incompatible with the agendas of the DA and FF+. Strategically, the EFF sees an opportunity to leverage its position to gain significant influence within the government, provided the ANC is willing to renegotiate the terms of the GNU. The EFF's insistence on excluding the DA and FF+ also reflects broader concerns about the potential dilution of transformative policies. The party fears that the inclusion of these parties in the government would neutralize the possibility of radical economic reforms, such as the nationalization of key industries and the establishment of a state bank. For the ANC, the decision to engage with the EFF on these terms presents both opportunities and challenges. On one hand, aligning with the EFF could help the ANC consolidate a stable governing coalition, potentially easing the internal divisions that have hampered its negotiations with the DA. On the other hand, severing ties with the DA could alienate certain factions within the ANC and complicate its broader political strategy. The ANC must also consider the broader implications of such an alliance for its policy agenda. While the EFF support could facilitate the implementation of more radical policies, it could also provoke backlash from business interests and other political actors who favor a more moderate approach. The EFF has made it clear that its participation in the government is contingent on several conditions. These include not only the exclusion of the DA and FF+, but also assurances that the President and Premiers will have the prerogative to determine the composition of the executive after consultation with EFF leadership. The EFF has also expressed a desire to take on leadership roles within the legislature, including positions such as Speaker, Deputy Speaker, and Chairpersons of portfolio committees. In his letter, the Secretary-General emphasized that the EFF's pursuit of these positions is not driven by careerist motives, but by a commitment to effecting meaningful change. He argued that the EFF's involvement in the executive and legislative branches is essential for advancing the interests of the oppressed and ensuring that the government's policies align with the principles of the Freedom Charter. The EFF's proposal comes at a time of significant political flux in South Africa. The recent national and provincial elections have resulted in a fragmented political landscape, with no single party securing an outright majority. This has necessitated the formation of coalitions and alliances, complicating the process of government formation. The ANC's resort to forming a GNU reflects its recognition of this new political reality. However, the party's negotiations with potential coalition partners have been fraught with challenges, highlighting the complexities of coalition politics in a diverse and divided society. At the core of the EFF's proposal is a vision for government that is committed to radical economic transformation and social justice. The party's emphasis on the principles of the Freedom Charter and progressive internationalism reflects its broader ideological orientation. The EFF envisions a government that prioritizes the needs of the poor and marginalized, and that takes bold steps to redress historical injustices. This vision includes policies such as the expropriation of land without compensation, the nationalization of key industries, and the establishment of a state bank. The EFF also advocates for free education, healthcare, and housing, as well as the insourcing of workers to ensure fair wages and working conditions. The EFF's proposal presents both challenges and opportunities for the ANC and for South Africa more broadly. On the one hand, the exclusion of the DA and FF+ could facilitate the formation of a more cohesive and stable governing coalition. On the other hand, such an exclusion could also limit the ANC's ability to appeal to a broader constituency and could provoke backlash from those who favor a more inclusive approach. For the EFF, the opportunity to participate in the government represents a chance to advance its policy agenda and to gain significant influence within the national and provincial governments. However, this opportunity also comes with risks, including the potential for internal divisions and the challenge of maintaining its radical identity while participating in a coalition government. As the ANC considers the EFF's proposal, it must weigh these various factors and consider the broader implications for its policy agenda and for the future of South Africa. The decision to align with the EFF on the proposed terms would mark a significant shift in the political landscape, with potential ramifications for the country's economic and social policies. The path forward will require careful negotiation and compromise, as well as a clear articulation of the shared principles and goals that will guide the new government. For the EFF, the challenge will be to navigate the complexities of coalition politics while staying true to its radical vision and ensuring that its participation in the government leads to tangible benefits for the oppressed and marginalized. In the broader context of South Africa's ongoing struggle for economic redress and social justice, the EFF's proposal highlights the importance of bold and transformative policies. Whether or not the ANC decides to align with the EFF on these terms, the debates and negotiations surrounding the formation of the GNU will continue to shape the country's political trajectory in the years to come. If you found this video informative, please click the like button and consider subscribing to the channel for more videos. Until next time.